Okay, hello everyone and welcome along. Thanks a lot for joining us today. Thanks very much for making the time to come along. I'm Dave, a project professional down in from the northeast of England, and I'm also one of the instructors on the Pure Project Management Credential course. Today's session is going to be all about Pure. We'll be answering lots of different questions, what it is, how it works, why it's different, and any questions that you guys have got along the way. So before I kick things off, you can see I'm joined by two new instructors this time. So let's do a couple of quick introductions to the rest of the panel. So, Brooks, how about I hand over to you first of all? Do you mind just saying hello?
No, appreciate it, Dave. Clinton Brooks Herman. I think I just recently got tagged as the one with 3 first names, and I've always kind of said that. But here's my LinkedIn that you can come follow me and connect, and we can have any discussions you might have in regards to either my course or Pure as a whole. But I look forward to having these questions with Dave and Walt today.
Great. Thanks a lot for coming along, Brooks. And Walt, let's hand it over to you. Why don't you say a quick hello?
All right, Walt Sparling from Florida. You can find my link here on LinkedIn, and you can also follow my podcast on pmmastery.com. Looking forward to chatting with you guys today about the Pure program and answering some questions.
It's a good point about your podcast. There was 2 brilliant episodes, one guy called Dave and one guy called Clinton. Absolutely brilliant episodes, so check those out. Okay, so for anyone new to Pure, Pure is a new credential created by a group of us who are living and breathing projects and project delivery. There's a team of over 20 project professionals who are in the thick of it every day, navigating different priorities, unblocking different teams, delivering value through projects every single week. The credential is made up of 29 bite-sized practical courses, all focused on things that will make a difference to you in your role. Each one's got relevant tools, tips, and insights that you can start applying straight away. The full program comes in at $399. When we break that down, that comes in at around $14 per course, including all the learning content, all PDUs for any existing certifications, and your final exam, of course. I think that's enough about the preamble. Let's get stuck into the questions. So what we'll do, we'll sort of bounce it back and forth. So Brooks, I'll start with you first, and then the second question will come to Walt first. But the first question we've got, Brooks, what's one lesson from your own career that made its way into the Pure course material, maybe without you even realizing it at first?
Sure. So my course is the Adaptive Project Management Strategies. And one of the things that I noticed kind of ended up coming in is the form of adaptability, just being prepared for change and being prepared to handle issues is what I like to call them. I don't like to put a negative connotation with problems. Everybody thinks about math problems, but being ready to just jump and make the adjustments accordingly as your projects come at you. I mean, the knives are getting thrown, and if you will, and you want to just be able to adjust and jump around and keep moving forward, keep the projects progressing.
Nice. Okay, Walt, I'll come to you with the same question. What's one lesson from your own career that made its way into the Pure course?
Communications, the importance of, the level of, the frequency, which are all things that myself and Joe actually talk about in the communications course. It is so important. I'm sure that people have heard that 80 to 90%, more on the 90% of what a PM does is communication. So I've learned where I did well and where I didn't do well, pretty much always boiled down to communication. And that's why I've focused on that in my career and in my coaching.
Great. And yeah, I totally agree. I've heard communication is important for project managers, so good to call that one out.
Yeah.
I do it every now and then, I suppose. Yeah.
Just a bit.
Okay, so Walt, I'll come to you with question number 2, if that's okay. What's one unexpected skill I'll walk away with after completing the course?
I have not finished all of the courses, but I did. There was a couple that I have, and there's a couple that I'm looking forward to. Actually, your course on retrospectives was interesting because to me it reminds me a lot of lessons learned. So that I got a new perspective on kind of the agile and project delivery side of the business. And there's one coming up on negotiating, which I deal with all the time, but I can't wait to get others' perspectives on how to handle that.
Great. And thank you very much for plugging mine. I agree. It's one of the best.
Boy, I didn't say that.
Don't worry. I'm happy to put words in your mouth. Brooke, same question to you. What's one unexpected skill you walked away with after completing the course?
Sure. So I've actually been able to complete the program in its entirety, and there's definitely unique perspectives brought forward from everybody. I think, Dave, you've even brought it up in some communications where just you have folks that are in the construction background, in facilities background, in IT, in AI. We have some in the education field, and just the breadth of where people are utilizing project management and maybe don't even recognize it. And some of those aspects where it gives you a different perspective and utilizing it. I've always looked for different ways other groups are doing it in the education world and see how does that help me in my construction facilities aspect that I may not have thought about. That's more, maybe it's quicker, maybe it's more efficient.
Yeah, just to chip in on that one, I think that's one of the really nice things about this whole program, the different perspectives you get. And I look at it as a bit of an accelerator or a fast track for your ability to tailor either things like your project delivery as a whole or even your communication style. You get a lot of sort of good ideas to steal and a lot of good ideas that you can then build on with your own style, which is really nice. Because I think you've sort of teased at it there, but it's easy to fall into the trap of if I do this by the book, everything will be fine. But I think a lot of your journey in project management is discovering what works for you and how you can use your style most effectively. And this really helps you discover that, I think.
No, I agree.
Okay, cool. So next one. I love talking about this, so I hope this will be a good one. Brooks, I'll come to you first. Can Pure help me overcome imposter syndrome in my current role?
I think it should be able to. I think that a Pure project manager opens the door to even the folks that haven't recognized that they're being project managers and ones that are looking to jump in. I mean, it's real world and actionable items that you can actually see throughout the discussion. And if you can, you'll be able to walk away and actually utilize that information and see implementation. And we've had recent discussions with some of the folks that have taken it not outside or that are outside the instructor world within Pure. And they're recognizing the differences that Pure provides them and opens the doors for a different thought process.
Excellent. Walt, same question to you. Can Pure help you overcome imposter syndrome in your role?
Yes, I think so. I mean, I know when I went into this program, I had a little bit of imposter syndrome on the video recording. I do a lot of interviews, but most of them don't go out on video. It's audio only. So I was a little nervous in getting going, but once I got into it, I was good. But the one thing with this course is you're not watching one instructor, you're watching multiple 20 plus instructors, and you're seeing how like real people doing real PM stuff, how they're very diverse and very different in their approach. And it kind of, I think that helps people relate more to this is not a rigid type. You have to be perfect in every aspect of project management. You can specialize. And I think a lot of the instructors are just that. They can do project management, but they're specialized in some areas, or that's their primary focus. So I think it gives a little more relaxed environment to realize that we're all different. We don't have to be any one way, and we can do it.
No, really cool. And just to comment on the mechanical element, I think even the process of working your way through those 20 plus courses, you're building a really healthy backlog of evidence that you've got a clue what you're doing here. You're demonstrating to yourself that yes, I know what I'm doing as I build up this evidence in this portfolio, which is Oh, go ahead, Walt.
No, I was going to say, yeah, you could watch a course or 2 or 3 and go, yeah, that's how I approach things.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm doing a good job. And for the areas you don't know, you go, oh, now I got something I can go off of.
Yeah, it's another thing I talk about. I think there's a base level of competence you need across the board, but 2 or 3 parts where you'll have some skill or be pretty special. As long as you can cover that base across the board, you can then specialize in what you think you're really good at or what you're really called to, which is nice as well. Cool. Okay, great. Next question, Walt, I'll come to you first. I'm sure this has never happened to you, but how do you keep your team motivated when everything hits the fan?
Oh, Ron. Well, what I like to do is, get the team together. So, because in my experience, we have a team, but we all manage individual projects. And when I was in a lead role, I had, I heard about everything, had to deal with everything for everybody's projects, but I made sure that we got together on a regular basis in a team setting where we could talk about any issues that are going on. And probably an example of stuff hitting the fan would be when your client does a major organizational shift and new leadership comes in and they start saying, this is how it used to be done. Now we're going to do it this way. Like, all right, well, now we know what's going on. Let's talk it through. What are your concerns? What do you think is going to be a problem with this new organizational shift and how they're doing things? And bring it to me. We'll talk through it. And if there's things that are a common concern, I'll take it up the chain and we'll see if there's a way we can address it. But don't leave them hanging like, well, now we're just stuck. We have to do this. We don't have a choice. How hard is this going to be? Well, we'll work on it together. We'll figure it out. Do we need to do more training? Do we need to get together more often? What do we need to do to just continue business, but adjust and adapt? Kind of like what Brooks was talking about earlier.
Yeah, a lot of what I'm hearing come through there is having a good level of trust within the group that you're not going to leave them on an island if things change.
Right. I guess I could have just said that.
Brooks, anything to add to that one around keeping teams motivated when everything hits the fan?
Sure, run faster. No, what Walt was saying is I agree with the run, but it's run to the issue. Run to it to address it head on. And that's what Walt was saying. Have a discussion with the team. And like I alluded to earlier, I don't like to call things problems or stuff hitting the fan. They're all issues. Usually problems, people think of math problems and they have negative connotation from grade school and what the teachers made them go through. So I like to call them issues, and I like to approach it with clients at the very beginning of projects and state, we're going to have an issue on this project. It's how we work together as a team and come to it. And that's part of what you'll see and learn in Pure.
It's really nice. Bit of a stoicism feel there, almost like let's control what we can control and accept what we've got to accept, but we'll still continue to do our best. Really nice. Okay, next, coming back to you first, Brooke. So how do you stay sharp as a project leader while also teaching and mentoring others?
Whew, that's a great question. I know we have a course, I'm drawing a blank on it, but it's about
Self-care.
That's the one I'm looking for. And that's something that leaders as a whole, they don't do well enough. We've got to step into self-care and think about that and take the time off. Today, I'm fortunate and taking PTO. I'm here with y'all and loving it. But this is what I enjoy, and doing the things that you enjoy so that you can be there for your team. Because if you're burned out, your team's not going to have the drive that you need them to have to be the best that they can be for your clients.
Really good. Really good. Walt, same to you. How do you keep yourself sharp while you're teaching and mentoring others?
Well, kind of teaching others is one of my, I guess you call, skill sets that I've learned to grow over the years, and the team kind of expects to learn from me. So I spend, if something new comes out, a new standard, I get into it. I try to understand it. Maybe reach out to where it came from, PMO or whatever. And then I put together little tips and tricks for myself as reminders. I have a OneNote I keep training in on key topics, and then I share that with the team. So if when I was a lead, I would actually have bi-weekly meetings with the team, and we would do a section of that meeting was bringing them up to speed with new standards or training or addressing issues that I saw were happening that were common among the team. I believe that continuous learning is something that a lot of very successful project managers do. I myself, I'm constantly trying to learn new things, and I do my best to try to pass that same kind of idea on to the people in the team. Right now, a lot of the PMs I work with are more of a peer instead of a reporting up. So if I see something that I think I've heard one or two people talk about, I'll look into it a little more and share it. And then I share lessons learned on a regular basis so that they can utilize it in their other projects.
Really good. And it's one thing I talk about with up and coming project managers now, about having a sort of a project management or a project delivery journal, because there's stuff that you'll go through in the moment that you'll forget about unless you write it down and come back to it again later. If you want to be able to harness that later, you need some evidence of it. So totally agree. And just on your point around that peer-to-peer thing, another thing I talk about with project people is typically when they've got imposter syndrome and they feel like they're not doing enough. If you see a project manager who's doing something really good, ask them how they do it or how they learned it. Just go and speak to them about it, because I treat it a little bit like a sports analogy, like when Kobe Bryant picked Michael Jordan's brain. Just think of it exactly the same way. He's clearly very good at this. I can learn from him. I'd be a fool not to. And us project managers are friendly people anyway. I think we love sharing what we know, which is always great.
Yeah, one of the things to that point is like when we would bring on a new PM and they either were fresh, like maybe an APM or a junior PM, or even if they had experience in the past, and they go, well, how do you guys do your meeting minutes? How do you guys do your budget tracking? So I'd say, all right, here's a couple PMs in your onboarding phase. Follow these PMs, ask to be invited to their meetings. And sometimes I would just tell the PMs, invite this person to all your meetings. They're not going to show up all the time, but take a look at how other people do it and then adapt. If you have that flexibility, if the account or company allows that flexibility, take the good out of each one of those and create your own style, and just get an understanding that not everyone's going to do it exactly the same.
Yeah, and you're not even going to be able to pull all the good and utilize it exactly as that individual that you're learning from uses it. You need to understand it, adapt it to fit you. All at the end of the day, it's about how we get. It doesn't matter how we get from A to Z. It just matters that we get there and we provide a quality product to the client.
Yeah, I thought that going through the pure course, especially in Robert Heen's stuff, I thought he's a really gifted communicator, clearly, but that style is just not going to work for me. I don't have that in my bag, so I need to find other things that I can leverage. So yeah, totally agree.
But he is not a good skateboarder. Just
neither am I, for that matter.
Okay. So, Walt, I'm coming to you now. And if you thought you could get through this session without talking about AI, I'm about to disappoint you. So, how do you personally use AI or automation tools in your day-to-day work, and where do they not help?
Was that me?
For you, Walt, yeah.
How do I use it? Oh, wow. So, I primarily use it for social media stuff. It helps me I do a lot of daily prompting on LinkedIn, social media posts. I do a word of the day. I do a word of the week, my wow. So I do use it for that, to help by giving it certain prompts to try to find certain answers. Like I try to take words and find humorous definitions of them to go along with the serious. I use it personally. Like I'm working on a presentation right now for a mastermind group that I'm in about the practical use of AI, so that people that have heard a lot about it but don't actually, they're kind of nervous about what is it going to do for me? How can I actually do it? So I'm working on creating like natural prompts, like setting up, I just did one recently with setting up a workout plan for a person at a certain age, and working at a certain place, and how many times a week, and these are the kind of machines and weights that are available, and using it to go out and research rather than buy an app that you pay a monthly subscription to. This, the AI can help resource. It finds resources, gives you a summary, and then I ask for it to give me the resources if I want to go and back check where it got it from. Doing the same thing with lawn care, diet. So there's a lot of things that I'm playing with right now for practical use, but primarily it's been more on the social media and idea generation. I use it a lot for brainstorming.
Just before I come to you, Brooks, you mentioned lawn care there. And I don't know if this is a natural thing, but I find the older I get, the more I care about my lawn. But side point of that is, I actually gave ChatGPT to my mum, who's a pensioner, because she does a lot of gardening, and she can sort of point the camera at these flowers and ask what's wrong with this flower. Yep. And ChatGPT helps her figure it out and get better results when she goes to her gardening clubs and all that. So it's, the application potential feels enormous outside of even just pure project management roles, which I'd hope would be exciting for people. Okay, Brooks, I'm coming to you with the same question. How do you personally use AI or automation tools, especially in your day-to-day work, and where do you find them not as helpful?
Sure. So just like Walt, it definitely helps with ideation and helping to develop on the social media aspect and blogs. A new one that I'm testing, just playing with my blogs, throwing into Notebook LM and having it create podcasts. Not in the true formal fashion like Walt has with his PM Mastery, but just for fun, just testing it out and seeing how it goes. Then coming into the day-to-day work, I've been always had a desire to learn about macros and VBA within Excel and different types of coding. Just never had the time, because being a project manager in construction and infrastructure, it's not our forte, if you will. And so that's actually helped me develop some insane Excel documents with coding and VBA in the background, that I get to learn parts and pieces of it as I go. And then I've also started to utilize Power Automate to help with automation and utilizing Copilot and developing some automations within some of the workflows at work. So it's been unique. It's been interesting. It's a tool that will help us all. You just need to know how to utilize it correctly.
It's really nice. Lots of good stuff to pick out there. But your Power Automate point, it's part of a family of tools called robotic process automation. And I think that should just be mandatory learning for every project and delivery professional. To be able to have an idea of how you can automate stuff away is just so incredibly helpful. And
it hurts my head.
But then if you throw the AI layer in there, not only to coach you, but to allow you to really put the jetpack on your solutions, the sky's the limit from there. I think it's tremendous.
Yep. One thing I want to add to this, and this is something I've been thinking through recently with AI and the course, there is a course in Appear on AI, is a lot of the tools that are out there are not always available to all people. So like on my phone, I have 3 or 4 different AI apps that I use and play with, but at work, we are locked out from anything but the corporate LLM. So, and I have a client. So when I'm on their network, I'm restricted to theirs, but because I'm not an employee, as a contractor, I can't use theirs. And I can't use mine on their network. So I'm basically blocked out of using AI for my day-to-day stuff. So I use, I'll brainstorm through outside apps and then have to translate that over in some format for my work. So in large corporate environments, AI is not as easy access as it is in your day-to-day.
I'll ask you a quick follow-up, because I've got an opinion on this, but do you see that situation continuing? Because I think personally it's a matter of time before everywhere just sort of adopts them in once the pendulum swings back to somewhere sensible, I suppose.
I think it'll be as prolific as just having Office 365. So, I mean, right now Microsoft's already got with Copilot, and they've got some AI tools built into like PowerPoint. I haven't messed with them on a lot of others, but once that becomes more accepted and people are less afraid of it, I think the restrictions will be loosened up. So, because they encourage, like when my client encourages the use of AI, but I can't get access to it. So, yay, yes, I agree with you. We should do it. Give me access.
Okay, cool. So we're coming up to time. So let's get one more question in. And this is a good one. So Brooks, I'll come to you first with this one. What do you think project leadership will look like 5 years from now? And how is Pure helping people to prepare for those shifts?
Sure. So there's definitely always going to be change that comes down the line. I think some of the hard skills around project management leadership are going to stay the same, but some of the soft skills will continue to adjust. And recently, there was an article that PMI put out and Forbes put out, and a couple different articles where actually Pure covers 15 of the 16 upcoming soft skills to know, soft and hard skills, I think is what it was. The only one that we didn't cover, and it's more of a specific, we do have AI in there, but it was more specific in how to actually utilize MLM. And I know that Josh covers a high level of AI and how we can use it, but it doesn't get into the intimate details that that particular skill was calling out. But Pure's here to help you develop into who you can be the best tomorrow. So
nice. Okay, well, I'll come to you with the same question. So what do you think project leadership will look like 5 years from now? And how is Pure preparing people for that shift?
So how I see the future is, and part of this is going to go over to the AI portion, is a lot more processes and tasks and automation are going to be handled by AI. So the real management aspect is going to be more on the relationships and leading your team. So the skill sets there are going to be more important in 5 years than following specific processes or tasks. As far as how Pure relates to that, you think of communication. That's one. My course on managing communication throughout the project lifecycle. You've got a course on negotiation. So that's more of people skills in helping to lead and manage your team, and that includes stakeholders. And then you've got sales. There's a course on I can't remember the name of the course, but it's on how to be a good salesperson and how the importance of that is. So it's a lot more people centric, and there are other courses in other areas. Tanya's got some great ones, and I'm trying to think. Oh, I lost her name.
Ellen?
Professor.
Yes.
Yeah, Ellen Ramsey.
Ellen, yeah. Some great coursework on leadership. So there's a lot of different courses in there that address it in different areas. So I think that is not something that you may see in some other courses and boot camps that you might take. This one is more of, hey, this is what's going on in the world. This is how we deal with it. And I think those are going to help PMs as they move forward in the coming years.
Okay, great, cool. So I suppose that brings us right up towards time. Is there anything else that we want to leave the listeners with? Any sort of final thoughts we want to leave on Pure before we close off the recording, guys? Any sort of final statements?
Yeah, take the leap, jump in. You'll be happy with the end results once you come out with the training and the real world experience that gets provided to you, and the credential that you get at the end too. It doesn't hurt. It's not what it's all about, but it doesn't hurt it at the end.
so many things. I mean, I was on a call earlier with some regional leads and an account I used to work with, and we were talking about development of certain people and what are they going to do to help improve their skills. And one had talked about taking a PMP, one talked about getting their lead AP, and I go, well, I got one for you. And I kind of gave a real short description, and she's like, definitely send it to me, and it sounds good. I might take it myself. So personal development, to your point about the PDUs, and you get them as you go. You don't have to wait. So you have a year to take the course, but if you're needing to get PDUs or there's a topic, a specific topic, you don't have to wait to take that. You can take it now. Like when I started in this course, I took the ones that just seemed to either have the most current interest or usefulness and took those. And then boom, I added the PDUs to my tracker and I'm ahead of the game. So there's a lot of advantages to it. And if you're looking for personal development, you can do it in bite-sized chunks. This is definitely a great program.
That's a really good point. And I've just realized that the three of us actually put together different trackers for Pure, but I think they're all centered on exactly the same thing. Prioritize this in the way that makes the most sense to you in terms of what you want to get out of this first. Sort of a core principle of mine is release value early. So please don't, I won't take it personally if you don't do mine first, if you think there's something more.
Well, I mean, mine's the best of the three, but I agree that you guys put a lot of work into yours.
You're incredibly modest. The only other thing I would add, or the only final point, and I've said this a couple of times, but I'll keep banging the drum. Just reach out to us, come and speak to us. We're all really passionate about the courses we've put together. We're all really excited about what Pure can offer you. Just get in touch and talk to us about it. We're really happy to help, and we've got what we hope is a lot of good information, a lot of good skills, and a lot of good development that you guys can get through on this. So please, please, please get in touch if you've got any questions. Okay.
Absolutely.
We're here for you.
Okay, great. So Brooks, Walt, thank you very much for all your time this afternoon. That's been great. Thank you very much for joining us. And keep checking out the Pure Management Alliance YouTube for further videos and talks like this. Thanks, everyone.